And now, a fitting patriotic tribute to the world's third best raiding continent.
Dark were the skies and chill was the wind as the land was covered in a veil of malice. Across the hill did ride a dread army of the night, cloaked in mist and fog to rain destruction on the land, and the people did cry out for a saviour. Unfortunately for them, their saviours were banned for 72 hours for exploiting. So everybody died and China won anyway.
Yes, indeed, folks. Welcome to Lynch Total Biscuit Please here on WoW Radio. The date today is the 10th of July, 2009. It is 8 p.m. British Standard Time. It is 9 p.m. on the EU servers. It is probably something like 3 p.m. in that third world raiding continent. I can't remember its name. What's it called? I actually can't remember. It's crazy. It has literally gone out of my mind. Shoved to the back there. All the way to the back. Right back there. Can't even see it. All the way over here. Right over here, where no one can see it on the rankings. Are you listening to Blue Please here on WoW Radio? Oh, I'm so dead. What have we got coming up for you in the show today? Well, I can absolutely tell you that. We got, of course, the mailbag, which was full of hate mail. Now, I'll be reasonable. I only got like 4 pieces of hate mail, which out of 27,860 US listeners last time I checked. That's not bad. So obviously the vast majority of your country doesn't hate me, but those that do made it well known. And they all listen to Rush Limbaugh. There's a shocker. Also going up in the show, Blizzard dumbing down of raiding has thoroughly failed. Here's an idea, maybe people just suck, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it to fix it. We're going to pore over some statistics that may or may not be good, and conclude that, yes, the vast majority of the WoW raiding populace is utterly freaking terrible. And regardless of your nerfing, and indeed maybe because of your nerfing, they ain't getting anywhere. Simple as that. Also, impossible boss fights. Is it acceptable to create a fight that can't be beaten until the next tier of content? Talk about that, talk about a little bit of history of cock blocks, or rooster blocks as we like to know. Also, what's the difference between fun and work? Can daily quests and repetitive tasks ever really be fun? And indeed, is this game even a valid game? If the only reason you're having fun is if you're doing it with other people. If you're doing it solo and it's not fun, is it really a game? Also, we will be trying to find out whether or not anything and everything is funnier if we put
in the mountains
on the end of it. So we'll be trying to figure that one out. I have the feeling that it will be, so we shall see.
In the mountains.
Yes, we shall. So, let's go into the bag for the hate mail, because there is a lot of it, and perhaps it might be time to clarify a few things. Right. Okay. Guys, seriously, I don't hate America. I love America. America's friggin' fantastic. Lived there for almost 2 years. Hope to be living there for many, many more. It's fantastic. It's a wonderful country. It's got a great outlook on life. But my lord, your American vocal minority of raiders are so dumb. There was a thread on the EU forums today where they were said, look at these retarded Americans. And someone pointed out, hey, all Americans aren't like that. And I said, well, you're right, actually. But the guys in this thread absolutely are. And the point is, stupidity is universal. But there are certain brands of stupidity. Region-specific stupidity. And there are a small minority of Americans that do believe that their country, and indeed all of their raiders and all of their guilds, are number one. Now, this, of course, hasn't been the case for a very, very long time. I know, death and taxes used to be incredibly good back in the day, but that was a long-ass time ago. EU dominated. They pretty much, as I recall, dominated since Kel'Thuzad onwards. It was no contest. Now, to be honest, that's a bad thing, because competition between regions, and competition just between guilds in general, is a good thing. It's not good to have an oligarchy in one region where they're just the best raiders, and, you know, that's the end of it. But there are some people on your continent and playing on your service that just can't keep their mouths shut, and have never heard the word classy in their lives. Now, here's an example. As you may be aware, a Taiwanese guild, actually they're not a Taiwanese guild, they're a Chinese guild playing on Taiwanese servers, downed the so-called impossible boss, Yogg-Saron plus 0. Yeah, they downed him. And they did so with incredible grace. You know, they said, we really look up to Insidia and other guilds. This is how we did it, and they went in depth about how they did it, and they were just really humble about the whole thing. Even though they're now clinically the best raiding guild in the world, they were really humble about the whole thing. And you know what? Insidia came back and said congratulations. You know, they were totally cool with that. Now, guess exactly where the racism and the xenophobia came from. Yes, a small, vocal minority of American raiders. Always the freaking American raiders that do it. I don't know why. I can't figure it out. Now, people may say, oh, he hates America, blah, 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 but these are the guys you've got representing you. They're mouthy. They can't deal with the fact that America's not number one when it comes to raiding. And I'm sorry that you're not number one in a video game on the internet. I'm really sorry. Surely that is going to affect your cultural heritage. You know, lower your standing in the world. But can you please shut up, your fellow compatriots? Like, I don't know, just go to their house and beat them with a shovel or something? I mean, you've got guns over there, make use of them. Surely. I can't figure out what it is. But no, obviously, I hate America and religion and all of those other things which America is made of. Pies. Yes, a big hater of pies. I'm very pious. Well, one could say I'm very pious. So yeah. I won't hate on America anymore. I'm just saying, stop your friends from talking on the internet before you embarrass yourselves. Maybe when I see a congratulations to stars on Exodus front page, as opposed to we are recruiting all classes after a mass exodus, from their guild.
In the mountains.
Then maybe I will take back that remark and say, hey, the vocal minority of American raiders are graceful and can deal with the fact that they constantly lose at everything. Until that time, I will continue to believe that that is the case, as will everyone else in the world, and you would do well to try and dispel that particular illusion. Right. That's that out of the way. So yeah, that's the 4 pieces of hate mail, all answered. Yeah, and all of the remarks about Britain having cameras. I don't actually care. You're just going to get this out of your way. Attacking another country, not the best bet when you're trying to make a reasonable and rational argument. It's like, our country's awesome, and your country sucks for this, and this. Like, that's not proving your point. All that's proving is that you're mouthy, and maybe you're getting a little bit defensive. A little bit insecure there? I don't know. Alright. Now, from my terrible country that I don't really like, it is time for this.
That sounds like it's mail time. Here's the mail.
It never fails.
It makes me want to wag my tail. When it comes,
I want to wail.
This is mail time, folks. Right, I've got a couple of emails, and I'm going to read them out. It's like Total Biscuit is the agony ant today. I've got an email here from Joseph Brewer, and he says this. Okay, here's my problem. I joined a raiding guild to progress in 10 and 25-man content in WoW. Well, after 2 nights of epic fails on Colagarn, yes, he did in fact just say... Epic! Colagarn, eh? Terrible. A lot of people are getting anxious, then fail-boating on the 4 horsemen in... What? How did you kill XT002 if you can't kill the 4 horsemen? I can't figure that one out. Anyway, needless to say, a big sigh is constantly being released. So what are the big signs that it's time to move on to a new guild? Well, that, to start with. If your guild can kill XT002 and yet can't kill the 4 horsemen, yeah, that's really terrible. Okay, maybe if it's XT002 10-man, that's really easy. But if you can kill XT002 25-man, you can't kill the 4 horsemen, then I don't know, because that's not a very hard fight. All you do is kind of swap the mobs over and hit them out and they fall over. Heck, there's even an achievement for AoEing them, you know. I don't know. That would be a big sign for me. To be honest, though, and this goes out to anyone, if you hate turning up to your guild and you're constantly face-palming at what they're doing, for God's sake, stop raiding with them. You know, my guild Lethe had issues like this, and it did make me want to raid with them less and less and less, and I honestly kind of wish I'd stopped sooner, because it just sucked. It poisoned my view of the guild, and it poisoned my view of raiding to the point where I didn't want to do it anymore. You know, there are other external factors, as I mentioned over the last couple of weeks, that the fact that the progression path is so linear and so samey, it makes it really dull. Yeah, okay, that's a reason. But to be honest, I think the fact that my guild was screwing up so much and had people in it that I didn't like really didn't help matters. So, it's understandable you want to stick with your guild because you build this kind of loyalty to them, but you've got to bear in mind they're really just another bunch of players, and they're not really your friends as such. If you've been with them for a very long time, then yeah, you may have built some friendships, but online friendships come and go. That's just the way of it. You've just got to deal with it. And never, ever, ever put the needs of the guild above having fun. Yep, this is not some job that you have to attend to every single day. You are not letting your guild down by suddenly quitting. That's just the way of it. If you're not having fun, don't play. Because it's a game. And you know what? Life is too short. It really is. Life is way too short to be bashing your head against something and hating every single minute of it. That's what I decided. That's why I stopped raiding. And I feel a heck of a lot better for it. Maybe I'll come back. Maybe. You know, if Lethe gets some quality control in there, and I'm sure some of them are listening right now, you know who you are. You know who the good guys are, and you know who the bad guys are, and you probably hate them just as much as I do. And I know we're stuck with them for whatever reason, because, hey, we've got a limited pool of players to choose from, but let's be honest here, do you have fun raiding with them? Because I sure as hell don't. I didn't, I stopped. And that really was that. Let's see what else we have in our bag of mail. Nice long one here. It's from Darcy Ibsen, also known as Darcy from Quelhuretel, whatever that is, I see that's a guild, on Bloodscalp US, and he says this: Hey TB, between listening to your show and the Octal and Hordak vs. the World, I've become extremely skeptical about whether or not it's worth continuing playing WoW. Because of my schedule and other commitments, I've never been a raider, and I've always considered raid content something I'd get to eventually. And I've been happy to do dungeons and solo quests in the meantime. Now, when I say I've never been a raider, I don't mean that I'm not part of a hardcore raiding guild or even a casual guild that does raid content. I mean, I've never done a real raid. I've had an 80 for a couple of months, and I've never set foot in Nax. Don't worry, guys. That's not a real raid.
In the mountains.
Yeah. I missed all the endgame content in vanilla WoW, as well as TBC, a problem with many newer players that you've discussed in the past. Now, it seems only the scrubs, as you call them, are about where I am in the game's progression. So, I've just about given up on finding an active casual raiding guild that would take me. It's almost like I've been playing a single-player game for almost 18 months. I've ranked up as a WoW subscriber because I keep missing out on all the hot, new, juicy content everyone else seems to be doing, but it is still out of my reach. So lately I've wondered, why am I paying $15 a month for an online game that I play by myself most of the time anyway? All my friends have left the game for now, and it's starting to look like I'm just never going to try out any of the real endgame stuff. I've considered just doing Battlegrounds and focusing on PvP, but honestly, I'm a bit of a lore junkie, which is half the reason I started playing in the first place. I've been a fan of the series since Warcraft Orcs and Humans came out when I was 10, and I don't think PvP would satisfy my desire to progress the story. But neither is leaving my character in limbo, finally at 80 but not doing any of the real endgame stuff. At this point, I'm waiting for patch 3.2 so my alt, a level 59 Tauren Shaman, can rip through Outland on a speedy flying mount. Maybe he'll be more in demand than a DK. Do you have any suggestions? Do you think my situation is possibly exacerbated by the dumbing down of content? Do you really think the upcoming changes will make things even worse for players like me? I want to keep playing, I really like WoW, but I feel I've been left in the dust. Well, I think there's a number of reasons why you've been left in the dust. One, you're playing a class that is the least in demand in the entirety of WoW. Yep, Death Knights are to a penny. Everyone's got them. Most people have level 80 Death Knight alts, if you can even be able to roll an alt. I personally don't, because I hate rolling alts, but almost everyone in my guild had a DK alt, and they were all experienced raiders, so some of them were quite good at it. You know, the people we recruited for DKs were really only the best of the best of the best. So, trying to get in a guild with DK, yeah, good luck. Try getting a pug with a DK. It's all DK alts trying to get Nax gear these days. Don't do it. I mean, you really do need to get your other alt up, to be quite honest. DK, not a good idea. I would have thought, I mean, have you just never had anything above 55? Because I assume you must have had a 55 in order to get your DK. So what, was that the Shaman? You never did any vanilla content? Well, I think you should really stick with the Shaman and start working your way through. Yes, wait till 3.2 where you get the flying mount. That'll make things a lot easier, a lot nicer for you. Go for that. But I think that what has really caused the problem with the content and getting into the entry level of raid stuff is the fact that everyone has done Nax to death now, because that's the way the progression path was. It's like, hey, go do Nax. We don't have anything else for you, just go do Nax for 6 months. Oh, everyone's done Nax or got as far in Nax as they're ever going to be and then quit or failed in Pugs repeatedly? That's fine. Here's a new dungeon. Now everyone moves up to that. Oh, you knew 80? Oh, sorry, yeah, we forgot that you existed. That's really how it works. And it's really sad for so many people that you can't actually get in a guild and enjoy WoW. What I would suggest, to be honest, is if the best way I would imagine to get into this is to go form a 10-man guild. Forming a 10-man guild, not all that hard. Yeah, forming a 25-man guild, well, that's a bit trickier. Do a few pugs, get a 10-man guild together, form it yourself, do a bit of organization, just be a nice guy, get a few friends in there, people that you like, and just say, hey, you know what, we're going to start again, we're going to start from Nax, we're just going to have a nice, chill time. You know, we're going to chill our way through the content. Who cares if you get to the end game in 6 months or 6 days? It doesn't matter. Just chill your way through the content, enjoy it for what it is. Since you've never been in Nax, you'll actually, hopefully, have some fun. Find other players. There must be other players like you. Go and have a look. Post on your Realm forum. See if you can find guys like you. Try and put together a decent group and go run the 10-mans. And you know what? I think you'll have a little bit of fun with that. I'm actually considering going back in-game and running 10-mans. You know, running Old War 10 just on a chilly basis. You know, do a couple of bosses a night, just chill out, relax, no stress, and then maybe get myself back into the raid game. It might work. Now, this is a song by Kylie Kilburn. It's the theme tune for the Coffee with Sargeras blog. It's very cool, and I'm going to play it for you right now. It's nice and relaxed. Enjoy.
Mr. Sagers, would you meet me for some coffee? There's so much I'd like to know about the king of mass destruction. Can you fly? Can you shoot fire out your eye? I wish I could. Dear Mr. Sagers, what's it like in the twisting nether? Can you go out in the rain, or do you just avoid the weather? Would you melt? Can you wear lightning as a belt? That would look cool. Oh, would you have coffee with me? 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 How's it feel to be the fallen? Is it hard to be Lord of Darkness when you can't see where you're going? There's no light, and yet you always stay so tan. I don't understand. Dear Mr. Sagres, is it boring to live forever? You should learn to play guitar, or maybe even knit a sweater. It might be fun. After you kill off everyone, that's also fun. Oh, would you have coffee with me? 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 Mr. Sagres, I'd say it was a pleasure meeting you today. I hope your universe is doing well. Maybe next time you're in town, knocking titans to the ground, we can meet for tea and anarchy. Oh, would you have coffee with me? Oh, maybe a cup of tea. Oh, would you have coffee with me? Or maybe if you happen to get lonely, I'll write down my cell phone number so that you can always call me. I'll be there. Even though your voice can melt my hair, I will be there. Dear Mr. Sawgrass, I know you despise all good, but I can see just from your blog that you were so misunderstood. There's more to you than crushing worlds and evil looks. You should write a book. Oh, would you have coffee with me? 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 Would you have coffee with me?
In the mountains.